Hello, YouTube. It's been 1 week. Oh my god, it's been a week. Okay. First, before I actually get to the point of this video, I want to say, number one, it's only been a week, and I've already gotten several messages and comments from people asking, where's your next video? I want to see your next video. Why aren't you making more videos yet? And actually, that makes me really happy. I'm like, oh my god, people are watching my videos. So it makes me secretly happy. Also, this past week, I now have 500 subscribers. I know compared to other people, that may not be much, but I honestly, when I made this channel, like back in 2008, I never really thought I would break like 100 or 200 subscribers, so it's been a huge surprise to me. So, subscribers, viewers, peoples, thank you! Thank you! If you enjoy my videos, I guess please subscribe? I don't know. It makes me look more popular on the internets. And I want to look popular on the internets. Do I? I don't know. That's not always a good thing. Is it ever a good thing? Oh well. That's territory for another video. But what's territory for this video is just a couple points mixing together. It's very relevant to my own life. I am a huge nerd, and most of you, probably my viewers, know this, and that's probably why you might be subscribing, or where you probably initially started watching my videos, because I think that the first video I posted on this channel was a Dissidia potion taste test, and if that's not nerdy, I don't know what is, but yeah. Being nerdy and honestly sort of living my life and trying to have a normal life, but what is a normal life? And one of those things of a normal life is dating. So, when I was a teenager, I always thought that I was such a nerd that there was no possible way that I would ever find a significant other. Because, I gotta say, like, in high school, I was such a nerd that, like, even the nerds didn't like me much. Like, I didn't quite fit into even, like, the reject clique. I just couldn't find my niche, and I was very, very just sort of by myself, with the exception of maybe one or two people throughout my middle school and high school years. So I thought to myself, well, I'll probably be alone for the rest of my life. Oh, so lonely. But anyway, as I entered college, I found that that was actually not the case, and I do not know why, but suddenly guys were coming up to me and being like, hey, Ren, let's go on a date. And I was like, what the? Why? Look at me! Although sometimes I do disguise myself. Actually, I am a former cosplayer. Yeah, once again, nerdy. So I like to dress up and pretend I'm somebody I'm not. Sometimes. Sometimes I dress up like a girl, and I put on this makeup. It's girly makeup. And I wear girl dresses, and I go to, like, normal people places. Not normal people, but usual places that usual girls go to, like, I don't know, like, clubs. And not even nerdy clubs. Yeah, there are nerdy clubs. I go to, like, regular, just the clubs that are really popular, like in Shibuya and stuff. And regular people talk to me. And sometimes I feel a little weird about my shaming secret. But anyway, I'd like to talk about a couple points. Anyway, and I found that being nerdy actually is not debilitating in the fact that, oh no, somebody wants to date me, but I found it's actually made me really, really picky. And I don't know, have any of you nerds been this way about other people? You find that, like, maybe a person's maybe outward social status seems high, but maybe then you try to talk to them and you're like, I don't really like you because you're just, I like you, you're a nice person, but you're just really not nerdy enough for me? To just give some examples, you know, you might be seeing someone, and you start asking them, hey, you know, like, what are you into? And they're like, yeah, I like soccer, and I like to watch sports, and I like to drink. And I'm like, alright, you like soccer, sports, drinking. I mean, do you do anything else? I mean, like, what do you do when you go to work, and there's, like, really not much else to do, and you're, like, you know, right before you go to sleep at home? I mean, me, I play video games all night, and read comics. How about you? Oh, I drink, and I like, you know, insert whatever here. watch soccer. In Japan, it's like, watch soccer, or like play rugby. Well, those are like the multi guy things. Oh. And so sometimes I might go to, you know, a guy's apartment, and, you know, I'm checking out the surroundings, and sometimes I feel discouraged when I see it. Just and guys, girls notice this. Girls notice the furnishings around your house, and they decide what it says about your personality. Like, if there's really nothing in your apartment, and it's just like honestly, if it's really like immaculate and clean, I suspect something's up. Like, something's weird. Maybe it's just because, as you can see, I'm an extremely cluttered person, but it just seems weird. The things that I look for are like your computer setup, and how nerdy that is. Like, is it minimal, or is it just a ridiculous mess of different, like, laptops, desktops? Are there wires everywhere? Are your speakers sitting on bricks? Do you have external speakers? Do you have any music equipment? Are you a music nerd? You know, and then how many ashtrays of cigarettes are piled up around your computer? That tells how much time you spend there being a nerd. So, you know, it's important. Smoking's a huge thing here. So, like, most of the guys I've ever dated were major smokers. It's not like in the States now where a lot of people are quitting. It's really rampant here. So smoking, like, cigarette piles are generally an indicator of time spent. Gosh, it's really hot in here. Sorry. I've been trying to do the Setsun and save power thing, but it's just really hot today all of a sudden. It's like 30 degrees Celsius. Like, anyway. And then some other things I notice is what's around his TV. Like, you got a TV, alright. I don't really notice what kind of TV, you know, because it's just utility. But I notice consoles. You know, you got any game consoles? If it's something older, like, honestly, if it's like a PlayStation 2 or a Super Famicom, then that's like 100 points in my book. I'm like, yeah, this guy's been nerdy since forever. Like, that's good. Even if it's like an original Famicom, that's even better. But, like, these days, you just see, like, maybe there might be like one PlayStation 3. And I'm like, oh, cool, oh, you play video games. And then I'm secretly hoping I might have something in common with this guy. But, yeah, right. So I'm like, yeah, you like video games? And they're like, yeah, I'd like to play Winnings 11. And then that's like the only game they own. I'm like, why did you buy a PlayStation 3? Those things are freaking expensive to have one game. Why? And there's so many guys who just exclusively play Winnings 11. That's all they freaking play. And once again, you know, there's guys who just play sports games in the States, and I guess because they're really into sports. But if you love sports so much, just go out and play the sport. Don't play a video game for it. I don't understand sports video games. Anyway, and so I'm just, and then I get kind of discouraged. And I'm like, oh, so, okay. And then there's just the really embarrassing part that if they come back to my place, I mean, like, I've gotten the underhanded jokes like, wow, Ren, you sure have a lot of game consoles there. Why? And then I get boastful about it. I'm like, well, you know, those are just my game consoles that are, like, out in the open. Like, you haven't seen the ones that I've got in the boxes in the corner? Like, I haven't unpacked them yet. Did you know that I have, like, all the original versions of, like, the 1980s games consoles? Like, I'm so cool. And then I realized that it's not really boastful. I mean, it's boastful to me, but not to them. And then it gets awkward and silent. But occasionally, like, I find, I go out with a guy, where a guy might be like, oh my god, you have, like, all the versions of Katamari Damacy, oh, that's so cool, and I'm like, yay! And I've even had relationships in which, we were living together, and right before living together, I had to run a few tests. I mean, like, consoles, alright, check, computer mess, check, not too clean, check. Okay, now here's, and here is a big test for me, is, can we coexist in, like, the same room? Because living spaces in Tokyo are tiny, so you pretty much have to live, like, in the same, like, 10 by 10 space, not 10 by 10, but, like, 6 mat space, and can we coexist, and can I just chill out for a little while, and you, like, not bother me for a little bit? Because when Final Fantasy XII came out here, I kind of had to have some me time, especially 12, for all the stupid fucking hunts, but, like, I had to have some me time, and I'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna play Final Fantasy 12 for a while, and I need you to not bother me. And if you can just do that for like an hour or two, that would be like awesome. And I wanted to get to a point where I didn't have to say it. I just turn it on, and like he would know. And like there was one guy, he didn't know, he knew. And then he would like sign on to his computer, and we'd sit there with our MacBooks, like both of us. We could be on our MacBooks, and I remember there was one time where we were both playing Ragnarok online together, like just sitting on the same futon with our stupid fucking MacBooks, just like and playing together and like looking at each other's screens like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? And I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is what I want the rest of my life to be like. You not bothering me when I'm trying to play my console games, and then we can play online games together, sitting next to each other on the same computer, on like computers, sitting next to each other in the same room. You know, but really that's a trap, because that's not the only personality thing you should be looking at. You should be looking at other vital personality things too, like normal people would, or else, you know, bad things happen. So yeah, and then in Japan, guys have this habit of asking, like, what's your type? Like, what type of guy do you like? And it's usually, like, a physical type. Like, do you like tall guys or shorter guys or whatever? And sometimes, like, you know, I like a variety of people. So I would usually, my answer is like, well, you know, like, I like a variety. I like all kinds of people. And then they get kind of, like, antsy, and they're like, well, give me an example, like a celebrity example. And I don't really know about a lot of celebrities, because I just really don't watch that much television, or just, I don't know, watch a lot of mainstream media, I guess. I mean, like, besides, like, crap, like, the most mainstream thing I'm watching right now is Game of Thrones. That's pretty it's pretty mainstream. But, you know, nobody watches that in Japan yet, because it hasn't been released here, and there's no Japanese subtitles, and you probably can't even find them online. And so it gets me, I'm like, oh, really, type, oh, okay, and I'm sitting here thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, type, I kind of like Wakka from Final Fantasy X, and then, of course, like, the other guy sitting next to me, he's like, what the fuck is that, like, what is that, Final Fantasy, isn't that a video game? Like, yeah, That's really unfortunate. Like, the more I'm thinking about it, that's so unfortunate just for me, I guess. And so, like, yeah, I guess a lot of, like, female nerds are like, you know, we have there's a video game character that we're attracted to, and of course he's never gonna be real. So it's just like, Anyway, that's just some of the things that just makes my life really awkward. So, like, if you're an awkward nerd and you expect that life will be a lot less awkward when you're older, it will be less awkward to the point where it's actually comfortable, but these things will still come up, I think. Like, if you're a teenager wondering about your next 10 years future, I can tell you from experience now, you know, you can go out and you can meet mainstream people, but will you be happy? You've got to look for that nerd. You've got to look for that nerd. And not just any kind of nerd. Like, I have to look for a video game nerd. You know, I don't think I would be completely satisfied with just a comic books nerd. You know, they gotta like video games too. And even that, like, are they old school or new school? Or kind of both. Like, if it's somebody who's just completely new school, like, I couldn't go on and be like, yeah, man, like, really like playing like Final Fantasy IV, and then I start talking about the economy between, like, the easy games and the hard versions, and then talk about all the weird import shit about it, and they're like, what? Like, I only play, I don't even know, because I don't play a lot of recent games. This is so bad. And it's just, oh god. Maybe I'm too awkward for this world. And that's why I'm really just a person who exists on YouTube. Like, you'll never see me running out of my house. I haven't even left my apartment today. I'm making YouTube videos. I haven't even left my apartment today. I can't even enunciate today because I have a cold. And yeah. And you would be surprised that I caught a cold, because I must have caught it from someone. And, you know, I never, like, see people. Okay, I do. And here's another awkward situation. Actually, I was talking about clubs. I went to this club a few weeks ago, last week or two ago, and Club Adam. Somebody screaming outside. Okay, anyway. Club Atom, it's ATOM. It's in Shibuya, it's right across from O East, and like, it's pretty mainstream. It plays like pop music, hip-hop music. Sometimes they play trance and stuff, but I went, my friend and I went. We actually had a really good time. But just like the guys approaching me in the club were just like, there are lots of different types of guys, but they're very, I don't know. Like there's one guy, and he looked like a rugby player, and I was like, what's your interest? And he's like, I like rugby, and I'm like really tall and like rugby, and I'm like, yay, and like in the dark, like I can't really see them, and of course my eyes are freaking terrible, so I'm like, from a distance you kind of look like Waka, kind of. But then he's like, I like rugby, and then I asked him how old he was, and he was like, I'm 22, and I was just like, oh, I don't know, because I'm like an old granny and stuff, and I'm like, I might be a little bit young. Okay. Alright, and if you're really nerdy, you would just call me out on that, because isn't like Waka supposed to be like 23? Anyway, shut up. Shut up. Shut up, internet. Anyway, it just felt awkward, so I kind of like moved on. I had some more drinks and this other guy. And I'm like, oh, I kind of get along with this little short, scrawny, nerdy guy. And then it's just kind of like, you're weighing your choices and you look at your head. Like, you're looking in your head and you're like, here's this tall, attractive guy who most girls would probably go for. And then there's like this little, scrawny, nerdy guy who's like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go for him. Personality, yeah, personality. I don't know. I'm just gonna stop there. Like, no, but honestly, like, somebody make a video response or make some comment about this, like, male or female or whatever you're into. Like, does your fandom and your nerdiness seriously affect your social life? And does it affect, like, the friends you make? And does it affect your love life? Because it has been affecting mine. And I don't really know if it's positive or negative, but I don't know. I just wanted to get that out there because I was just, God, I'm all over the place in this video. I'm sorry. I'm not put together on this one. Anyway, yeah. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts. I'm out.